moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are
Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulullah, wa ba'd. In the name of Allah, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon his last and final messenger. Family, friends, foes, haters, and hateettes, welcome back to the Feachaz. I greet you all in peace with love and love and no hatred in my heart. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So before we begin, please like, please subscribe, and please share. As you know, we got a lot of haters up in here. And this particular topic, it goes directly into the call of reparations that Black people have been banging drum on for the last, I want to say, like at least the last decade. Very hard, right? And of course, Black folks, they absolutely deserve reparations. And we have to understand that these religious institutions that were set up by the enemy have a purpose. And the purpose is to keep us pacified and, docile, so that the enemy can keep their devilish white supremacist system going. So the Black church, even though, of course, we have respect for the Black church, a lot of us came up in the Black church or whatnot. However, we have to look at the reality of the situation with regards to the Black church. Now, my sister, she had sent me this article, or rather this post or whatnot, about the amount of money that the Black church actually receives. And of course, I had to go do my research because I was taken aback. Because I thought this has to be capped. And it turns out it's even worse than what I thought it was after I put in the research. Now, before we get into that, we want to watch a particular video that happened recently, and we're going to tie this in to what's going on with the Black church. So like, subscribe, share, hit me up on Patreon. Let's get into it. So this is Pastor Joe. This happened last week or a week before. It's very recent. And it's been going viral. I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen this if you're in the Black community anyways. Pastor Joe, for y'all that don't know what's going on, this Pastor Joe, married Pastor Joe, has been visiting a tranny prostitute 3 to 4 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week or whatever, spending hundreds of dollars of the congregants' tithings to get his rocks off with a tranny. And he decided that this week he wasn't going to pay the prostitute. And what you are seeing is the outcome of him not paying. You see, he's even admitting. He's admitting that how much he's paying. Married. So y'all get the point. And Pastor Joe is not a unique case when it comes to the black church. We know this very well. We know this, we understand this. And as a matter of fact, in modern times, the black church is pretty much, you'd say like 70, 80% old women. The men, by and large, have left the church because of things just like this. That's happened so often and so much that you don't see men in the black church anymore. However, there is this thing gets so deep. Like, I didn't realize how deep it was until, my sister, she sent me this thing. Right? So I did not realize how deep it was, right? So if y'all can hear me, just press number 1 in the chat, please, right? Because I got no comments in the chat. I don't know if y'all still listening to me or what. What's going on, man? Press 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, and let me just go into this article. Let me just get this article up here. Get it up. To show y'all exactly what I mean. We'll get into the first one. So if y'all can hear me, just press 1 in the chat, please. Is anybody there or what? What's going on? What's going on? Can y'all hear me? Is the chat working or what? It should be working. Okay, I see. I saw it. Okay, thank you. Jazakallah khair. All right. So let's get into this. So over here, we got this article from Harlem World. All right. So Harlem World says black churches have collected $420 billion. $420 billion. The article reads, LifeSeeds research showed that black churches an aggregate have collected more than $420 billion in tithes and donations since 1980. With the Senate investigation into the finance of several mega churches underway, the prosperity movement has been the target of mounting criticism from inside and outside of the black church. Specifically, affluent ministries of the Reverend Creflo Dollar, Bishop Eddie Long, and others has drawn the attention and ire and some clergy and lay people alike. $420 billion. Okay? Researcher Henry E. Felder studied the blacks' donation habits, demonstrating per capita spending $508 per year in 2009. Another source, Tyler Media Services, estimated the black church revenue approximately approached $17 billion in 2006. Could you imagine? One of the church reverends, Reverend Dollar's World Changes, reported $60.9 million in 2006 income, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. People, family, $420 billion. That right there is like the GDP of some countries. Y'all hearing me? This is not a joke. This is a very, very, very serious issue. We know that the black church essentially was set up by white folks in the 1700s. All right, 1700s. It's set up by the white folks. First, black. We know white folks forcibly converted black people. Okay. They forcibly converted black people. And of course, that caused a big kerfuffle. Because how can you enslave another Christian, right? Within, Christian society, right? If they're Christians, then how can you enslave them? So then they started teaching these black folks, the verses about slavery and whatnot. And we talk about all of this, right? And we mentioned they even came up with a slave Bible where none of the Old Testament passages were mentioned at all. And it was exclusively New Testament. And they trained their reverends and pastors and whatnot in the art of teaching the black congregants, slaves love your master. And up until this very day, because of the way that Christianity was presented to the children of slavery, you have a black church, you have a white church. Up until this very day. So the black church was always a means to stifle the wider black society. It's always been like that. This is not like a knock on Christianity or a knock on the Bible or even a knock on the church. It's just a historical fact, okay? We're speaking historical facts here. And we got very deep into the details of that in some previous videos. Okay. However, $420 billion for the black church only and nothing to show for it for the wider black community? Nothing? But wait, there's more. It gets a lot worse. Just believe me on this. Let me get this other article. This article's from university. I can't remember. I have to find it for you. But it's like a peer-reviewed article. Just give me a moment. Let me just get it. It gets a lot worse. Just believe me. Trust me here. Let me get this. Where is it? 1 second, y'all. I gotta find this thing. I hope I didn't delete it. No, I don't think I did. Here we go. Written by Emily Woodson. Let me get it for you. Okay. So we see here the business of religion. Jesus gave a command to spread the gospel to all nations. Well, he didn't give that. He didn't actually give that command. That's a different thing. Anyways, okay. With the help of modern technology, the church has been able to do as it was commanded. Ministry has grown from small to congregation to mega churches and large platforms such as television, online services, and media distribution. Churches now include various outreach ministries and offer extended services. They are now ATM machines and vestibules, bookstores and sanctuaries, and holy items for sale for personal use such as blessed oil and water. Anyways, that's a different story. That's a totally different story. We don't want to talk about that, but anyways, let's keep going now. Okay. This expansion of the church has come with a costly price. With growth, the church has adapted to the world. Okay, now listen to this. And I actually saw this article, but I can't find it. This is the article she's about to quote. I've seen it with my own eyes, right? I remember this article, but unfortunately, I'm not able to find it. But she did source it. But I guess if you whatchamacallit, if you subscribe to The Guardian, then you could probably get the article. But anyways, it says, according to a 2016 article, this is the article I'm talking about, Sherwood revealed that religion has grown significantly. Religion has a net worth of $1.2 trillion. 1.2 trillion. We're only talking about the church here. Okay? Which is more than Apple and Google combined, Sherwood's in 2016. With the integration of corporate business models, churches have become more of a thriving industry rather than a functional ministry. Some churches have become legal entities with models created for profit. The goal of the church is no longer focused on saving souls, but on whose ministry can outgrow the other. Mega pastors and bishops thrive off of the generous salary, while positions within the church are sought after for fame and power. Tithing is the first and original form of income for the church. It is the beginning of the formation of a business of the church, and tithes are the earliest recorded transactions supporting the church, right? So we know about tithes. We all know about tithes. Now, why is this important for us as Muslims? Y'all must, at least from a day once anyway, remember how we've been telling you the masjid has been going in the same direction as the black church, like the modern masjid. The same thing. You start doing the same things. Okay, it's now about making money for the masjid instead of building the wider community. This is why you have imams as employees. The imams are employees now, okay? In any other country, right, in the Muslim countries anyways, in the Muslim countries, the imams are actually the imams of the masjid, okay? They're like the leaders of the masjid, right? In the Muslim countries anyway, okay? They have a level of cooperation with the Muslim governments and whatnot, and they are the imams of the masjid. So it's run like a masjid, and it's there to help the wider community spiritually and whatnot, religiously, and to make networking and things of that nature. Over here in the West, the masjids are widely political engines. We've talked about this many times, okay? And that's why on your Eids, especially your Eid salats, every single Eid, they have to put some politician up, to give the pre-Eid khutbahs. However, there is another glaring issue concerning the difference between the black church and the black masjid. And this is another thing that we talked about on this channel, okay? And this problem, the big difference between the regular masjid and the black masjid is this. Let me show y'all. Massive difference. Let me just get this up here. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all are not ready, okay? Look at here. This is the massive difference, okay? Number of mosques in the U.S. grows overall, but African American mosques in decline. African American mosques in decline. So while the black church is raking in billions, the black masjid is losing money. Okay? Number of mosques in the U.S. grows overall, but African American mosques in decline. Okay? The majority of America's new purpose-built mosques are found in suburban areas, a shift that reflects the demographic footprint of Muslims in America. Now look at here. Did we not mention many times that in order for the immigrant Muslim to get a piece of the American dream, they must participate in the black American nightmare? They have to do that, or else they can't get the bag, right? And this is why you are seeing right now, after 30 solid years of immigrant Muslims, you're talking about 3 whole solid decades of immigrant Muslims twitching and twirling and twerking for liberals, right? They have always been liberals because liberals were the ones who are letting them in the country for 30 solid years. After these same countries bombed and depleted their countries, right? U.S., Britain, in the Iraq war and Afghan war, Somalia, you name it. These are the same folks who are making the refugees, okay, to come to the West and be silent about what's going on with the homosexual agendas in the schools for 30 years. They kept their mouths quiet. They couldn't say anything. Furthermore, they are participating in this left-right paradigm, talking about Islamophobia and stuff. We told y'all Islamophobia is fake. We said it. I don't know anybody else who said it, but we said it. Well, I said it many, many times that I do not agree with this term Islamophobia. This term Islamophobia is politicized, and it's meant for you to subconsciously be aligned with left-leaning politics. And eventually what will happen is that the same left-leaning politicians who sided with you against Islamophobia will come with their invoices for you to side with them against homophobia. And that day is today. Look at the Muslims, what these immigrants are doing all over North America. And who knows who's organizing these protests? Wallahi, we don't know. We don't know who's organizing these protests. All we know are these immigrants are happily participating in these protests against LGBTs and stuff. After 30 years they were quiet. All of a sudden, after the right, the alt-right has been, put out there in public as, liars and basically, demons, right? Here come the immigrant community to participate in their right to protest after all these years. Imagine that. So when Zaddy gives you permission to be brave, you'll be brave. Only when Zaddy says so. What does this have to do with the Black Mosque? I'm going to tell you what it has to do with the Black Mosque. When the immigrant community started coming to the West, who was in the front lines helping them build their mosque? Who was it? Who was around 30 years ago? Who remembers who the imams were that people were listening to 2 decades ago? Who remembers that? Who remembers the fiery khutbahs that were given by your African-American imams? Everybody, it didn't make a difference. Everybody had a favorite imam, and all their favorite imams were African-Americans. All of them. That was back in the days when brotherhood was real, though. That was back in the days before the masjid became a community center for ethnic groups. That was before Islam was ethnicized. Now that Islam has been ethnicized, like that old adage, very old adage in the 90s, black folks got the slam bam thank you man. Thanks for your participation. You can go home now. That's it. Used and abused. You see, look here. Let's just keep reading this article. We'll get back. Okay. Increasing numbers of African-American mosques are closing, while overall number of mosques in the United States continues to grow, according to the new report. American Mosques 2020 Growing and Evolving, released Wednesday, June the 2nd, shows key changes in the Muslim demographics as they relate to places of worship. The report jointly published at the ICNA, Islamic Society North America, and Center in Muslim Philanthropy and Institute of Social Policy and Understanding, was written by Ehsan Bagby, who produced similar survey reports in 2001 and 2010. Right? In 2020, the U.S. Mosque Survey counted 2,769 mosques, which is a 31% increase from 2010, and accounts of 2,106 mosques. Undoubtedly, the primary driving force for the increase of mosques has been the expansion of the population of Muslims in America due to immigration and birth rate. What have we been telling you? What have we been telling y'all? And is what we told y'all because of the immigrants? We told you already, right? We told you that, right? See, this is what it is. Because of racial policies in the West, when immigrants come, when they want to find the American dream, they find the American dream in the black community, right? Let's be very clear. The American dream is found in the black community. For every immigrant. See, the black folks are like the mammies of the earth. Y'all know what a mammy is? Y'all know what a mammy is, right? Black folks are the mammies of the earth. You see, back in the slavery times, a mammy was a black woman, big black woman, who they used to keep pregnant. And they used to keep her pregnant in order to get her breast milk. We actually mentioned, we went into detail about the industry that was made specifically for the breast milk of black women. And these black women were called mammies. Okay? The wet nurses. And they would feed their slave masters' babies, the babies of their enemies, okay, so that these children can go big and strong enough so that when they got words out of their mouth, they can call that same mammy nigger. And they would force these mammies to neglect their own children in order to make these white babies big and strong. How many of y'all know about this? Y'all know about this, right? It's like, this is just regular history. That's what they call mammies. So black folks, we are the mammies of the earth. We're just like that, right? The Watts riots in 68, I think it's 1968, if I'm not mistaken, right? In those days, it was the Jewish people who were running businesses in the black community. After the Watts riots, who came into the black community after the Watts riots? Jews were making a pretty penny, off of black folk. And they still do up until this day, particularly in the entertainment industry. They own black entertainment. They are the owners of black entertainment up until this very day, Jews. Okay. So after the Watts riots, they left, and who came in? The Arabs. The Arabs came in. And they were the ones who were telling you that Malcolm X is not Muslim. They didn't want to give Malcolm X no janazah or nothing. These Arabs, okay, they came in. They started opening up shop, 70s and 80s and whatnot, 90s. Okay. South Asians as well. I believe in the 80s. Came in the black community. 80s and 90s. Open up shop. Open up their convenience stores. Open up their gas stations. Open up their little groceries. They came in and they sent their children to college and university off of your money. Okay. Then the Koreans came in, and the Rodney King situation happened. And then we saw all these Korean shop owners with their guns, particularly in California and whatnot, protecting their shops in the black community, mind you, from black people. We didn't see black shop owners. We saw Koreans in the black community. Okay? With guns, protecting themselves from black people. 2020 in South Africa, we saw Indian Muslims. Was it 2020 or 2021? With guns. Protecting themselves from the South Africans from, for, they don't want to be looted by the black folk. They will work with these devils, these apartheid devils, demons. They'll work with them to get the bag, internationally, mind you. They will extort black folk out of their wealth. They won't give them land. They will have predatory loans for black people and say, no, it's not about you being black. It's about you living in a specific area. It's because you live in that area. Well, where's the areas then? The black areas. So the redlining in the West was the apartheid system in the East, East, in Africa. It's the same system. There's no difference between redlining and apartheid. Okay? It's the same thing. So you got Jews, you got Arabs, you got Koreans, you got South Asians, all of them getting rich off of you. All of them. You are poor, you don't know why you're poor. You just grew up in that reality. And people are telling you that you are poor because you are black. That's what they're telling you. You are poor because genetically you're not smart enough to keep a family together or to, get a good education or any of this stuff. Why can't you just stay in school? Why can't you just stay out of the gangs? Why can't you just stay out of jail? Can you imagine? They build an entire system to make sure that there is a school to prison pipeline for black men. And that black men can be picked up and set up for any charge, which is why the Rodney King riots happened to begin with. They caught the cops on video. Black people were complaining about this for years, the violence of the cops. They caught them on video. And them folks still found those cops innocent on video. The riots happened. When the riots happened, all of a sudden we violent. It wasn't the cops that were violent. It's us. But that's a different story for a different day, right? The point is, everybody, if you have a hungry baby and you see this big black breast full of milk and this mammy giving away the milk and everybody coming and feeding off that milk, first is the white folks, then the Jewish folks, then the Koreans, then the Arabs, then everybody coming and drinking off of the milk that you're supposed to be giving to your babies. How are you going to blame other folk if you're going to keep doing this? This is where the black church comes in. Because the black church make $420 billion. And that was back then. Right? If you read the article, it says the church itself is a $1 trillion business. $1.2 trillion business. The black church only. Y'all hearing me? And what do black people have to show for this 1.2 trillion? What do we see? What did we get? We got some old ladies now in the black church, old women. And we got the black church losing their minds. Doing some of the most insane nonsense in the black church. 420 billion. You don't need no reparations for 420 billion. You build your own industry. See, here's a problem with black folk, right? Black folk, They like to be led by their enemies all the time. All the time. The Black Mosque is the same way. The Black Masjid is the same way. Okay? The Black Masjid, the Black Masjid, instead of following white folks who don't love them, the Black Masjid will follow Arabs who don't love them. They follow any foreigner. That's the Black Masjid now. So for years, the Black Masjid now allowed other folks to cause the most ridiculous dissent in the Black community over dogma. Over dogma. Because of some Arab scholar somewhere fighting with some other Arab scholar somewhere. And they divide the Black community all the way in the West over this argument that two Arabs are having thousands of miles away. And it wasn't always like that. Y'all remember the time that we were united? Remember that? Before we got, before the Arabs started, meddling in our business? Before that? Y'all remember that? You remember that the Tao was growing? And people were becoming Muslim in droves in the community? So many Black converts. When it was organic, when the Tao was organic. The second foreigners came, that's when all that ended. That's when it stopped. Y'all get it? So let me keep reading these articles here. Let me go back. Actually, you know what? Let me get this link so I can get some guests on if you guys want to hop on. Let me see. 1 second. 1 second, y'all. This is insane. $420 billion in Black church. And what do Black people have to show for that? $420 billion. You got Black men running around in jet planes and stuff like that, private jets and stuff. That's what y'all got to show for it. But I want to show y'all something else, because this is not just specific to the church. If you think it's specific to the church, this is a pattern that Black people do with their money. They make everybody rich. Every single person, every single people group gets rich off the Black community, except for Black people. And even nefarious elements within the Black community get rich off of Black people. You just got to tell them 1 or 2 nice words about God and, going to paradise and, you about to get yours, but it's going to cost you $1,000. What is this ridiculous nonsense, man? Ridiculous nonsense. Y'all remember all the times I talk about Troy, like 20 years they asking for $15,000 for a furnace. 20 solid years. Every year they got to ask for money for the furnace, $50,000. Every year. And nobody said anything. There comes to a point where you got to take accountability, for what's going on in your community. You can't, that nonsense needs to stop. Straight up. That's insane, man. Like, how are you going to have, on one end, the Black church making billions. On the other end, the Black mosque, with all their people, all their talent, losing. Why? Because they out here helping everybody else. Everybody else got to get help from the Black community except for Black. And when it's time to collect on your invoices, you out here waiting like a chump. Are y'all gonna help us? You all Bengali's gonna help us? You Pakistan's gonna help us? Arab's gonna help us? Oh, slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Y'all are tripping, man. This is crazy. This stuff needs to stop. One second, y'all. Let me see if I can find it here. Where is... hope that'll work. I don't know. I never tried that before, but we'll see if it works. Yeah, it works. Okay, excellent. So if y'all want to hop in, just hit that link and we'll get you in. All right. Now, let's go back to the Bible, because a lot of y'all, we come from Christian backgrounds. Most black people, when they convert to Islam, it's mostly because they converted from Christianity. So we're going to go to the Bible for a little bit. Okay? So y'all might remember this in your church days, okay? This verse, one of the more popular verses. All right? So it's from Luke 4:1, okay? And it's called the temptation of Jesus. One of the more popular ones, okay? One of the more popular verses in the Bible, okay? So look at here. Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from Jordan and was led by the Spirit in the wilderness for 40 days, being tempted by the devil, okay? So for 40 days, Jesus has been tempted by the devil, according to the Bible, okay? And he ate nothing during those days, and when they were ended, he was hungry. So the devil said to him, the devil's coming to Jesus now, okay? If you are the Son of God, command the stone to become bread. Why? Because Jesus is hungry. He's fasting. He's fasting for the sake of God. But the devil's trying to tempt him now, right? And Jesus answered him, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone." And the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in one moment of time, and said to him, "To you I will give all this authority and glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I will give it to who I will." So basically, the devil is telling Jesus, I run this. I own this planet, and I will give it all to you. You can have it all. If you then will worship me, it will all be yours. This is the devil talking, right? And Jesus answered him, "It is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." These pastors, are they following the path of the very Jesus that they are reading about in the Bible? Yes or no? Somebody put it in the chat, please. Jesus was offered the world and he rejected it, according to their very own Bible. Are these the same so-called followers of Jesus? These folks? Yes or no? Somebody put in the chat, please. According to their own Bible. You must be tripping. Rather, it's more likely that they are, in fact, the devil, okay? They are the devil, or they're working with the devil. And it's very clear. It's very obvious. How do you make $420 billion off the people you claim to help and have zero record of any benefit whatsoever, except for some marching here and there with some picket signs talking about "we shall overcome"? Can you imagine? These are the folks that are claiming to be between the people and the kingdom of God. These folks. See, there has to be a separation between intelligent black folk and black folk that are, still stuck with the slave mindset. There has to be a total, complete separation. Because we can't run around here forever trying to pull these guys out the gutter, man. We can't. Either you is or you ain't. And this is why Islam is really and truthfully the solution. It really is. Islam really and truthfully is the solution. However, for us black Muslims, we need to follow Islam for us, not for any other people. You get it? We need to follow Islam for us. And there's no harm and no shame in saying that. What do you mean? When Islam came to South Asia and the Mughals ruled South Asia for, I can't remember how long, but a few hundred years, okay? They ruled. Muslims. Did they give up their culture? Yes or no? Did they give up their culture to become Arabs? Yes or no? Did they do that? Did the South Asians give up their South Asian culture to become Arabs? So much so that even some of these South Asians have mixed Islam with Hinduism. And they were allowed to make their mistakes and come along and transition along organically. They were allowed to do that. When Islam came to Indonesia, did they give up their culture to become Arabs? Yes or no? When Islam came to Philippines, when Islam came even to China, may Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 10,000-fold, Brother Kev D, Hayakum Allah. None of these groups gave up their culture just to become Muslims. They remained even speaking their own languages, eating their own foods. When Islam came to the West, it wasn't an Arab who was going into the black community to bring Islam to the Muslims. It wasn't a South Asian or any of that. It wasn't any of those folks. They were allowed to come up organically and have their own experience. They were allowed to do that. Islam, by and large, in the Western experience, really started with Noble Drew Ali, who, again, because Islam, when it spreads with just the basics and not the knowledge. He didn't have no Islamic knowledge. He got his Islam from the Qadianis. He don't know anything about them groups. He don't know anything about them groups. When Elijah Muhammad sent Malcolm X to go to Mecca to learn about Islam from his Muslim brothers, he wasn't thinking that these are his opponents. He don't know anything about Islam. Elijah Muhammad, he don't know anything about Islam. He don't know. Malcolm X came back to the States. He didn't tell Elijah Muhammad that these people were saying that you're a disbeliever. He didn't tell him that. He just kept it down. Then Malcolm X became a Muslim, a real Muslim. When he died, did the wider Muslim community accept him? Yes or no? Yes or no? For Brother Abdul Malik Abu Thalatha, he sent his son and he sent Malcolm X, both. Let's be very clear on that. Most people don't know that. When Wallace came back, as Abdul Malik Abu Thalatha mentioned, when his son, Warthi Muhammad, who was the engineer, may Allah reward him and bless him, of the largest mass conversion in recorded history, from the Nation of Islam to Islam. He is responsible for that. Black people didn't say anything about that. Black people weren't, trying to chastise him. That only started happening when foreigners started getting involved. You get it? Foreigners started getting to your business, and now you gotta hate your own people because everybody else is allowed to come up organically, but we're not. We're not allowed to come up organically. They want you to hate your experience. And they want to be followed. So it's easy for these types to invite people to their platforms who hate black people, like Daniel Hikikuchu. It's easy for them to do that because they don't care about you. But they're ready to care about you when you have the same mentality that they have in the black church. Give to the masjid, sadaqatul jariyah, Allah, all this kind of stuff. Do you benefit from that? May I remind you, 420 billion for the black church. And at the same time, the mosque, let me go back here. Y'all are tripping, man. Let's go back. 1 second, y'all. You think it's jokes? If Allah created the human being to worship him, correct? And then he created the nations and the tribes so that they can know each other, correct? So that they can know each other. Then why are you out here obeying the creation and the destruction of your own community while they pretend that they call you their brother? Why you obey that? Like, why? No, they wouldn't accept that for themselves. And they don't accept that for themselves. Let one of y'all nappy-headed, big-nosed, big-lipped Negroes go to Pakistan today and start talking about the Brahmanis and Deobandis in their areas. Let you start doing that today. See what's going to happen to you. They have their own way of doing things. But you allow each and every single person to come to you and tell you about Louis Farrakhan, Nation of Islam Life. You allow anybody and everybody to come say anything. And they have zero history of coming into the black community and making da'wah. Zero. They were here at the time of Elijah Muhammad. They were here at the time of Malcolm X. They were here at the time of Louis Farrakhan. Why weren't they making da'wah in the black community? Why? But they want to tell you about them? Y'all are tripping, man. Yes, it's an inferiority complex. Of course it's an inferiority complex. Of course it is. I wish a biscuit would. I wish a biscuit would. I wish a biscuit would come on the features and start telling me about Nation Islam and Elijah Muhammad and everything like that. I will start playing Louis Farrakhan right in their face. Don't play with me. Y'all came and treated us like your mammies. Like we said in the beginning, we are the mammies to every other people group, including the black church. Abdul Malik says, this is easy to do when reaching these shores. We are literally bleached of our souls. Wallahi, this is a true statement. True statement. We're bleached of our souls. You were brought here in order to make sure we stayed where we were, and you were happy to do that. You didn't say anything when they started putting homosexuality into the curriculums in the late 90s and the 2000s and 2010. You just waited until Zaddy and them told you it was okay to protest, and then you started protesting 30 years later. You know who has always stood up against the so-called LGBTQ agenda with consistency, even before when it's just homosexuality? You know who's always done that? It wasn't any of y'all. It was us. It was black folk. The ones that you trying to, kick out. And it's all, as far as I'm concerned, this trying to put us on the sidelines and pretend like we didn't exist and didn't contribute anything, even though they benefited tremendously from our presence and our work, that is just a wake-up call for us. And like I said, I wish a biscuit would. We are the ones with the history of brotherhood here. We are the ones who have 420 billion in the black church with no benefit. We are the ones who help build every other people group masjid with no benefit. And we are the ones who are losing masajid without any benefit. It's us. Don't you dare tell us anything or try to give us lessons about brotherhood. Don't you dare. Y'all are tripping, man. This is so crazy. Y'all might not like it, but it's the truth. Y'all might think, oh, that's a little bit harsh. I don't give a Rudy poo. It's the truth. As harsh as it is. It's the truth. Like it who like it, hate it who hate it. And if you don't like it, the links in the description. You can come get this smoke. No problem. Tell me about my parts. See, and the funny thing is, as usual, when this live is finished, the same people who are watching in the background hate like they hate watch. You know what I mean? They hate watching the background, but they're not brave enough to come on the live. They have to leave the comments afterwards. That happens all the time, man. But anyways, I digress. We talking to black folk here, man. Give me a moment. Give me a moment, man. 1 second, y'all. One second. There's one more thing I wanted to show y'all. Let me go back to this thing. This is so nuts, man. You see this? This will only change, like Allah says, Allah doesn't change the condition of a people until they change the condition within themselves. This will only change when we decide, okay, everywhere we go, we are the most hated people on earth. Everywhere. Without exception. We don't have to do anything except to exist. That's it. Your blackness is enough for people to hate you. That's it. That's all they need. All they need is some big black nose, some big black lips, and some dark skin and nappy head. That is enough for them to do all kinds of insane nonsense to you. That's all they have to do. Furthermore, you got to deal with all the stuff that's happening within your own community yourself. We got to deal with the Glorillas of the world, and we got to deal with the Cardi B's of the world, and we got to deal with black feminism, and we got to deal with mass incarceration, and we got to deal with the prison industrial complex. We got to deal with all this stuff. Now we're dealing with homelessness. Surprise, surprise! Like, and we talked about the homelessness that this is coming like 2 years ago. Made a video about that too, and it's here now. It is here. And with the rise of AI, a lot of y'all are going to lose your jobs, as you know, especially you women who try to kick the black man out of your house. You guys are going to lose a lot. You're about to lose a lot because that ain't about to keep the welfare train going for you anymore. That system is over. There's a new system coming. Right now in Florida, they're rewriting not getting ready to rewrite history. They are rewriting history in Florida. Y'all hear about this? How about they putting for the black studies or black history studies that the slaves learned how to use their hands in slavery and do trades? And the only thing that they can teach about slavery is that they learn how to do trades and the black slaves were violent. Y'all hear about this? That's what they're teaching in Florida right now. So is that a us problem or a them problem? If you don't recognize your enemy by now, is that a them problem or you problem? They telling you they showing you that they are your enemies. They're showing you this. They're telling you this. They're not hiding it. And you're still out here begging them, oh, please don't do this. Don't teach black children that, the black slaves were violent and stuff. And they're not just the enemies of us, but they're the enemies of Allah himself. And still Muslims want to cozy up with these types. The same Muslims that told you that CRT is irreligious ain't got nothing to say about that. The same Muslims that said CRT is against Islam have nothing to say about teaching black children that slavery was good for black folk. They ain't got nothing to say about that. Those Muslims. We are talking about Abdullah Andalusi, for one. And what's his name? Kitani, I can't remember. Ali Kitani or something? That's an Ali Kitani. Him, another one. We mention their names. We're not afraid. Not shy. Go look and see what Abdullah Andalusi has to say about CRT, critical race theory, and woke education. What do you got to say about this? Them folks. These are your brothers? Them folks? Give me a break. It's like Jesus, peace be upon him, allegedly said in the Bible, you are the sons of your father, the devil. He was a liar and a murderer in the beginning. That's them folks. That's who they want to cozy up with. Let them cozy up with them. Why you want to follow behind them when they want to follow the devil? It don't make no sense. You need them? Do you need them? It's not making any sense whatsoever. The same Bible we just read right now. Jesus was tempted by the devil by being given the entire world. That's like these guys. They want the dunya, and that's why they are silent when it's convenient for them, and they speak when it's convenient for them, because they're about the dunya. They ain't about to talk when it's tough. How you be silent about the LGBTs for 30 years? Homosexuals first, and then the LGBTs second, and then when black imams get shafted and blacklisted, and all, you're silent, you're quiet. We can't invite that black imam. He said something about the LGBT. You better not say nothing. Don't say nothing now. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing now. You're silent at them times. But the second Zaddy and them need your help, here y'all come.
Hello, how are you? I'm under the water. Please help me. Here, too much bleeding.
Here y'all come. Don't play with me today. Anyways. Let me get this thing up, man. I'm going to lose my voice. I'm going to lose my mind here, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. Black people talking about reparations and the black church got $420 billion and a $1 trillion industry. And the black mosque is doing what exactly now? Fighting with each other on whose manhaj is bigger? I got the big manhaj. No, I got the big manhaj. No, I got the what? Your baby, your beautiful black babies, born from Muslim parents, out in the streets killing each other like gangsters. Muslim killing each other. And y'all still talking about whose manhaj is bigger. And see, here's the thing, right? The Prophet ﷺ, did he teach the people about Islam first, about Allah first? What did he do? If I'm not mistaken, one of the last ayats in the Quran was, I give you Islam as a religion. We're ready to Islam Adina, right? And I'm pleased to announce that Islam is your religion. As far as I know. That's the last one. It was some years before the Salat was revealed. But he was teaching the people about Allah first. We were doing that at one point in time. We were teaching the people about Allah. And the people were becoming Muslim because of what you were teaching the people about Allah. They wanted to know about Allah. We're talking about Allah. Worship Allah. Worship Allah alone. Don't worship Allah with any partners. Allah will get you out of any situation. Seek Allah's free. This was our call. This was our dawah. As soon as the foreigners came, don't follow the Ash'aris. Ash'ari, what's an Ash'ari? I don't know what an Ash'ari is. Did y'all know I didn't know what an Ash'ari was. Don't follow the the Hizb ut-Tahrir. Hizb ut-Tahrir. What is that? That ain't got nothing to do with us. What the Hizb ut-Tahrir got to do with us? But we fell for it. We went for it. That's not our experience. That's some other folks' experience. What y'all look like, black folk running around refuting Deobandis? What y'all look like doing that stuff? As a matter of fact, what do black Muslims look like refuting the Nation of Islam? What y'all look, as a matter of fact, okay? Forget the Deobandis, forget the Braillists. That ain't none of our business anyways, right? What do you, black people in the West, under the thumb of white supremacy, look like? Not talking about the white supremacist, not talking about the white supremacist system, which is absolutely demonic and deplorable and devilish and against Allah and against the Prophet and against any and everything good. There is zero good in white supremacy except to fight it. What y'all look like, these Muslims look like, refuting the Nation of Islam.
Bombastic side-eye, criminal offensive
Where are these Muslims becoming followers of Farrakhan? Like what? What are you talking about right now? You got Muslims in the streets killing each other because of white supremacy. Because of the system of white supremacy. But you will not speak about that. You want to talk about how the nation in them is racist. The amount of barakah you can get and just speaking against this devilish, demonic, white supremacist system. Just speaking against it. Because it's fit not to speak against it. Because you're in it. And every single evil that is mentioned in the Quran, all of it is intertwined and embroidered in white supremacy. All of it. Komalut, white supremacy. Apartheid, this apartheid system, which Pharaoh started, white supremacy. Okay? Interest, white supremacy. Interest dealings. This interest banking is white supremacy. All of it. And you don't talk about that. You're out here telling the world there's no racism in Islam. There's only one race, the human race, and blah, 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 blah. And we're not racist. And we all brothers. And this is what you telling the world. And the world is looking at you like, oh, we all brothers. Come on, brother. Can you donate your hard-earned money to build our masjid? Because you know we're brothers. And you like a bonehead, you go do it. And then you say, well, you know we're brothers, so can you donate to our masjid, our black masjid in the hood? Well, sucks to be you. Bye, I'm going back to the suburbs. Y'all are tripping, man. Y'all are tripping. I have never in my entire life ever seen or even heard of any Negro leave Islam, like Islam, to become a nation. I've seen black folk leave Islam to become Hebrew Israelites. I've seen black folk leave Islam to become indigenous Indians. Okay, I've seen that stuff. But I have never, not once, in my entire life even heard of anybody leaving Islam to become nation. Never. And yet still, it is a staple in the black community that somebody, some black imam, got to give an entire khutbah about the nation of Islam and their kufr. Why? Not because it's organic, but because to make your Arab and your South Asian immigrant brothers feel comfortable. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. They want to know that you black folk are not racist. You don't have to prove you're not racist to anybody. They should be proving that to you. You must be joking. Where are these black racists anywhere? Where are these black racists going into the Bengali community, setting up shop and taking their money out of the Bengali community to the black? Where is this happening? Where? But the black church is extorting the black community. The black church, yes, is extorting the black community with nothing to show for it. And every other people group is taking their money out of the black community. All of them, without exception. And I wanted to show y'all something else before I go, right? Look at here. This is so crazy. Because y'all thought it was just about the black church and the Muslim mosque. No, man. This is nuts. Look at here. 1 second. Let me get this up. 1 second, y'all. Try to find it. Here we go. Got it. 1 second. So look here. How do black people spend their money? Right? We talked about the black church. Okay. We talked about the masjid. How black folk building every other people's masjid now. Every other people's masjid. And their masjids are disappearing. Make it make sense. Okay. Look here. How black people spend their money has been a hotly debated topic and on this site, not our office, social media, whatever. Keep going. Look here. 96.1% of 1.2 million households in the top 1% income or white. Okay, America's 100 richest people control more wealth than the entire black population. You can't make this up. 100 people control more wealth than all black people combined. The 5 largest white landowners own more land than all black people combined. Y'all listening to this? The average black family would need 228 years to build the wealth of a white family today. Okay? Now look, where's it go down? Look at this. Blacks and Hispanics lag in building wealth. Okay, whites, on average, $134,230, right? Hispanics, $30,730. Blacks, $11,030. This is for retirement. Okay? Whites, $130,000. Blacks, $19,000. Hispanics, $12,000. Right? This is totally nuts. Now look here. This is what I wanted y'all to show you. Okay? According to research, 42 million blacks have spent a power amounting to 1.1 trillion, which gives each man, woman, and child an annual spending of $26,200. Blacks spend their money on overwhelming with white businesses and the following products and services. Look at this. $3.3 billion in tobacco, $3 billion in whiskey, $2.8 billion non-alcoholic, $3.1 billion in leisure spending time. This is your what you call it, your movies or your TV. Remember we told you that black people are the largest consumers of TV programs? Right? Look at this. $18.6 billion on telephone services. This is how you spend your money. You know very well white folks ain't giving you no reparation. They're not going to give you no reparations. You know that very well. When you purchase your shoes, do you make a conscious decision to purchase your shoes from a black shoe owner or black shoe business? Or do you go buy Nikes? Let's call a spade today. Okay? This is ridiculous. But anyways, this is so crazy, man. And the black church, they out here like,
do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people.
Tell them.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God. God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe God with him. Hey! We don't just preach condemnation. We preach reconciliation.
That's what's going on with your money in the black church, man. That's what's going on. And then you got a whole bunch of these crazy cults just popping up, ripping you off too. Any retarded cult can come up and just rip you off. Y'all hearing me? But anyways, oh wow, we've been going on for a minute. I went off. Anyways, you see how nobody came on? Nobody came on for the smoke. Anyways, thanks for joining. May Allah reward you and bless you all for joining me. Thanks, brother Kev D. Hayakum Allah. May Allah reward you and bless you and multiply it for you 1,000-fold. Thanks for your generosity. Thanks for everybody who joined me tonight. Like, subscribe, share, and we will see you again. I think coming on tomorrow. Subhanaka la hamdik wa shara la ant wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.